He says he's the leader, right? But the guy can't figure out how to load a dishwasher. He says women are too emotional and he slams doors when she brings up a simple boundary. He says moms are just better with the kids until it's time to pay child support, right? I want to talk about the contradictions that men live in because they're not actually harmless. They're not just how guys are. They're choices and they're convenient, right? These contradictions benefit men in the moment. Less work, more control, fewer consequences. But here's the part that nobody talks about. They also hurt men. They make men bitter, emotionally flat, and full of the shame that they pretend is confidence, right? They destroy the very things that men say they want: connection, respect, intimacy, and fatherhood. I'm Lisa Sunny. I'm a toxic and abusive relationship expert. I'm the author of 4 books and the creator of the Trauma Bond Recovery course. I make content that names abuse for what it is and helps you rebuild. So hit subscribe if you are done accepting dysfunction as normal. Let's get into it, okay? In this relationship, he sits back. She's just naturally better at parenting. She's more patient. She has that motherly instinct. So the wife handles it all. The doctor's visits, the tantrums, the fevers, the first heartbreaks. She does all the parts that are inconvenient and invisible. And then the breakup happens and suddenly he wants 50-50. He's screaming about father's rights, even though he didn't know the name of their teacher 2 months ago. Most custody agreements don't even go to trial. And when dads do ask for custody, they get what they ask for 85 to 90% of the time. That's not bias. It's reflection. He says men shouldn't have to fight for their kids. Okay, I agree. I'm not arguing with that. But no parent should have to fight. Neither should moms. And yet moms fight every single day to protect their kids from neglect, emotional damage, or a man who's not fighting for their child. He's fighting for control or money or revenge. He's not fighting to know his child. He's fighting to keep her from having peace. And here's the part that stings. One day, that kid's not going to ask who had the better lawyer. They're going to ask who actually knew me, who came to the parent-teacher meeting, who held them after a nightmare, who showed up when it mattered, right? You're not going to download that connection off a custody order. He works, she works, but he still says, I provide, right? That's his excuse for why he wasn't around, why he missed school trips, forgot the recital, didn't notice his daughter crying on the couch. But when the relationship ends, he's shocked that money is part of the deal, right? She should just get a job. She wants to live off me. She already had one, and she was doing 2 others at home for free. In Canada, 71% of moms work, and most still do the bulk of the childcare and the housework. He built his whole value on a paycheck, and then he feels used when people treat him like an ATM. But yet that's how he showed up. If your only contribution was your job and that's what you yourself valued, that's what people are going to remember you for. You can't make a grocery list without texting 3 times. He doesn't know how to book a dentist appointment. He says, I'm just not good at that stuff. But he wants to be the man of the house. He wants to be respected. You can't be the leader and act like a child at the same time. This is what I call the CEO who can't open a PDF routine. He wants the authority, but none of the responsibility. She leaves him with the kids for a weekend. The guy's going to call like 6 times for socks and snacks, for help. She comes home and finds the kids were fed chips for dinner and they're watching YouTube at 11 p.m. and he wants a medal because they're still alive, right? He does the bare minimum and he expects bonus points. People stop trusting you when you act helpless. And the longer you pretend you're incompetent, the more you believe it. He says, well, she didn't let me do anything. What he means is he didn't do anything and she got tired of asking. So she reminded him and he gets defensive. She asked again. He forgets. Eventually she just handles it because it's easier than begging. Now he's the poor guy who got bossed around. No, he was outperformed by his wife. People notice that. The next partner, the kids, the coworkers, right? He's always got an excuse, but never gets the result. And after the breakup, he's going to tell everyone he tried everything and she was never happy. She had impossible standards. Reality check. She asked him to stop interrupting her. She asked for date night. She cried. She asked him to talk and he rolled his eyes. He told her she was too sensitive and now he's shocked that she walked. This is the I have no idea why she divorced me guy. He keeps dating different women, but the guy's going to have the same fight every single time because he never grew. And now he thinks women in general are the problem. He can't find the kid's socks. He puts the diaper on backwards. He microwaves fish sticks and calls it dad duty. But when he does one of those things without help, he wants a round of applause. He wants Facebook clout, right? He's going to post that all over the internet. He's the guy who forgets their birthday, but wants a trophy for remembering to pack a snack. And you know what happens? People are going to stop asking him to help. They stop including him in planning. He becomes optional, and then he complains about not being valued. You can't beg for relevance in your own life when you made yourself irrelevant, right? He's just brutally honest. I'm just telling it like it is until she says something real, like, I don't feel seen, like, I don't want this anymore. I need more from a relationship. Now she's mean, ungrateful, and he's the victim. He can dish it out, but the moment that somebody tells him the truth, he falls apart. Eventually, people stop being real with him and they tiptoe, they lie, they withhold, and he thinks it's because they're fake, right? They're so fake, but it's because he made honesty dangerous. If she cries, she's dramatic. If she's angry, she's crazy, she's bitter. She wants to talk, she's nagging. But him, he can scream and slam doors. He can ghost for 2 days, stonewall her, and then he acts like she's the one that's overreacting. He doesn't even have emotional control, but he does have emotional privilege. He gets to melt down and be seen as rational. She breathes wrong and gets labeled as this unhinged wife. Here's another one, right? These men that say, oh, I hate drama, but somehow he's the one that's starting all the fights. He's ghosting. He's talking crap to his friends about his wife. He stirs up all this tension and chaos within her family. He'll call her toxic, and he's literally poking the bear. What he really hates, this is what he really hates: being called out, being held accountable, being asked to grow, to be better. Drama, that's just his word for consequences. Those contradictions are not random. They are how the patriarchy keeps men feeling powerful while slowly cutting off everything good. And no, this isn't a hate men rant. I'm not a misandrist. Relax. This is what the patriarchy does. It hands men power and it takes away their permission to be human. It trains them to perform dominance and then it leaves them alone when that mask doesn't hold up anymore. It tells them you can't cry and then it shames them for exploding. It tells them to provide and then it makes them feel empty when nobody connects with them. The patriarchy doesn't just hurt women. It ruins men too. Because when you live like this, right, you never get seen, you never get close, you never build anything real. You just kind of perform being a man and you hope that nobody looks too closely. These men are in survival mode. They're always angry, always blaming, always half connected. The patriarchy teaches men to be dominant, not whole, to control, not connect, to demand, not to build. And the result, these men don't get love, they don't get peace, and they don't even get themselves. You want real intimacy, real partnership? You want a kid who actually wants you around? Men have got to stop hiding behind these contradictions and start showing up like someone worth knowing. Stop showing up in the comment sections whining about men's mental health when you're not doing anything to support men's mental health at all. Here's the secret, guys. Women don't want perfect. They want real. They want someone who can listen without turning it into a fight. Someone who can take accountability and apologize without needing a reward. Who can say, I didn't know that, but I'll do better. That's not weakness, you realize. That's strength. And if you can't do that, either someone else will, or she's going to choose to be single. And this whole, oh, you're going to end up single, sounds fantastic if the alternative is being with a man-child. If you have lived through these contradictions, drop one in the comments, or better yet, send this video to somebody who needs to be called in, not just called out. And if you're done with all of this chaos from relationships with men like this, join the Trauma Bond Recovery course. The link is in the caption. Hit subscribe because I make videos that say what most people won't. You don't need a reset. You just need the truth.